Hello, everyone. My name is Heather McCamey. Thank you for joining me today on Finding the Right Job 101 and Where to Start. So let's say you're fresh out of college, or maybe you've been out of the workforce for a number of years, or maybe you've been working in the same job for 10 years and you just want to find a new gig. Regardless of your reason for looking for a new opportunity, it's time to roll up your sleeves and get down to the serious business of job hunting. Sure, before you actually start, it doesn't sound very intimidating. You just go online, you find a great position, you apply, and land the job. People do it every day, right? It's only when you actually sit down and start job searching that you realize that the process is a lot more complicated than you initially thought. So let's set the scene. You settle in at your favorite coffee shop, fire up your computer, open up a browser window, and wait, where do you even start? Do you go to Google? Maybe monster.com? With so many resources available, it can be tough to figure out the best way to even start your job search. So today, we're going to talk about three things. One is we're going to discuss how to learn how to start the application process successfully, learn the newest resume and cover letter techniques, and learn how to create an effective follow-up system. So how do you find the best job listings? If you have a specific business in mind that you would like to work for, then you can go directly to their company website. Many companies post the most up-to-date job openings directly on their website, and some of them don't use job boards. So that can be a great, accurate list of job openings and opportunities at a particular company. If you don't see a job opening or opportunity that you're interested in, feel free to cold email the HR department or the hiring manager and ask if there are any opportunities that are available that maybe aren't advertised. If you don't really have a company in mind yet, you have plenty of options. Job boards are a great way to begin a job search. So for example, you can go to Indeed.com or LinkedIn. These two websites in particular compile job listings from a ton of other job boards and kind of consolidate them into one spot. You can also use social media, phone apps, and of course you can use your own network. Before deciding which position to apply for, you should make a list of your skills and strengths, as well as think about previous experiences you've enjoyed. From that list, you should get an idea of the kinds of tasks you would prefer to do in a job, as well as your top skills. By researching what you're interested in before just jumping into applications, you can make sure you feel comfortable with the role that you're applying to and finding something that best aligns with your skill set. Organize your thoughts and application materials. Do your research, do more research, and do even more research, and then you'll be ready to apply. So let's talk about organizing your job search. Properly organizing your job search is just as important as identifying the job opportunities that you want to submit an application to. So here are a few ways that you can keep track of your job applications and stay on top of the job boards or on top of your job search process. So you can create a job application spreadsheet. Some people use Google Drive and Calendar. You can set up job alerts, make a schedule, or you can make a list of targeted companies. So let's look at each one of these in a little more detail. Creating a job application spreadsheet is really important. This is easy to do. You can use Excel, you can use Google Sheets, or any other type of similar program that you're comfortable with. Creating the spreadsheet is a simple and effective way to kind of keep track of all your job applications that you've made. You can use the spreadsheet to list the company you applied to, when you submitted your application, any materials you submitted with your application, and other important factors of your application process. You can also use Google Drive and Google Calendar if you prefer to have everything cloud-based and kind of in one spot. If you have a Gmail account, you can use Google Drive and create that spreadsheet for tracking purposes. You can export the spreadsheet to other platforms that you use. In addition, you can keep your written documents there, like your cover letters and your resumes, or any other type of portfolio material that you submitted. You can also use a link to Google Calendar to make sure that you set reminders for yourself of important dates related to your job search. Next, you want to set up job alerts. So on many different platforms, you can set up job alerts. So once you've identified what type of positions that you want to apply to, then you can set up a job alert. The job boards that are out there will then either send you an email or a text message and let you know when a new opportunity has hit their job board, and you'll get notified. So when you decide to apply for one of the job openings or job listings that you received, you'll be able to use the information in the message that you receive in order to start your application process and keep track of your applications. Next, you want to make a schedule. Commit to a block of time every day to work on your job search. The amount of time you allot depends on whether you're currently employed or some other things that might be competing for your time. If you're currently working, you might be able to commit just 2 or 3 hours a week at the most. If you're not working or you don't have outside pressures competing for your time, you might be able to commit additional hours to your job search. Whether it's 2 hours every Saturday or 3 hours every single day, regardless of how much time you commit for your search, just make sure that you commit to it and you stick to the plan. And last, you want to create a list of target companies. So think about, where do you want to work? What are some top companies that you would love to work for? You want to start with a list of 20 or 25 organizations that you consider to be top employers to work for. You can identify these organizations by doing your research. You want to research their reputation. You want to look at reviews that other people have left them on different job boards like Indeed, or reviews that people have talked about on LinkedIn. And you also want to research their culture. You don't have to stop networking and responding to internet job postings or working with recruiters while you're doing your research, but just make sure that you have a good list of your targeted organizations to just kind of keep they stay top of mind as you're working through your search. Once you've created your list, research each organization and consider conducting what we call informational interviews. You can reach out to people on LinkedIn and ask them if you can have 10 minutes of their time to talk about the company that they work for. You want to learn more about it. Use the information that you gather in your informational interviews to tailor your resume, your cover letters, and interview responses to each targeted organization. Next, you want to think about becoming an expert. So after you've done your research and you're organized in your search, it's time to really get down to business. Some employers require certain certifications in order to even apply for positions. Many people earn specialty certifications in their industries to help them advance their careers. Earning certifications can give you a leg up in a competitive job market. It's a key item that hiring employers look for on resumes a lot of times. Some employers may also require workers to have certain certifications. This can be especially true if you're in the healthcare sector or maybe a financial field. Becoming an expert means many things, and developing the necessary skills for the job desired is one of them. The most ambitious and successful people have what's known as a growth mindset and consistently look for opportunities to develop their job skills. Many people learn various skills through education and taking certification classes. Of course, you already make every reasonable effort to stay on top of the best skills to learn for the job that you have or jobs that you want in the future in a specific field. You familiarize yourself with the latest technology that's pertinent to your career. You keep track of trends and changes in your industry and generally ensure that you're not falling behind. But certifications can just add one more competitive advantage. Think of it this way. All of those things, keeping track of trends, knowing technology, all those things that you have to do to remain relevant, everybody else that's competing for a position is also doing that. That's the cold truth. So make sure if you want to become an expert and stand out, look for certifications that you can gain to kind of set yourself apart. Another thing that you might want to think about are soft skills. So it might come as a surprise, but a lot of times interviews come down to what's known as soft skills. These are kind of like your people skills, if you will. These capabilities are often looked at as universal to many positions, if not all positions, but they can actually set you apart from your professional competition. In fact, in a LinkedIn interview with 291 hiring managers, 59% of those hiring managers said that they think the right soft skills are very hard to find. So with all that in mind, according to Go Skills, here are a few skills that you should work on honing in the future. Regardless of what type of role you're applying for, these are very important skills to have. Time management, communication, business writing, creativity and innovation, leadership, sales, marketing, and the emerging capability of data analytics. Of course, by no means is this an all-inclusive list, but the capabilities that specific employers are looking for can run the gamut. This is just a few of them that are, top of mind for many employers. Research agrees that the skills that we just talked about are currently sought after by many employers and will continue to be sought after in the future. So roll up your sleeves, get to work on honing them, and you'll be ready to take your career to the next level. So let's talk about a couple of tools that you'll need in order to effectively manage a job search. First of all, we're going to talk about a resume. You will need to write a resume in order to apply for those professional positions that you're interested in pursuing. So let's talk about what a resume is not. A resume is not a log of your job history. It is not a summary of your skills, and it's certainly not going to automatically get you a job. Think of your resume as an advertisement where you are the product. Your goal is to get the hiring manager to buy the product or give you the interview. So to accomplish this, you need to see the resume as your marketing tool, really. Without it, you are powerless. You will not get the interview without it. Having it, however, is just not enough to get the interview. Much like those flashing neon signs in Vegas, hiring managers are attracted to well-formatted resumes that have attention-grabbing details. Statistics back this statement up. To stand out from the crowd, it's important that you know what to put on a resume to quickly demonstrate your ability. Otherwise, it might just get tossed in the no pile, and the hiring manager will never see the full extent of your experience. So are you ready to learn how to use your resume to land that dream job? Most professional resume writers will tell you that there are 3 types of resumes. So one is chronological resume, functional resume, and a combination resume. A chronological resume is the format that you're probably most familiar with. This starts with your most recent position at the top, and it works down to your oldest position at the bottom. Ultimately, the goal of this resume is to show the various positions that you've had that lead up to the reason that you would be the ideal candidate for the position that you're applying for. The next type of resume is known as a functional resume. This emphasizes the relevance of your experience to a particular position. So to create a functional resume, you'll prominently feature your professional summary, your skills, and a work experience section organized by how closely the positions that you've held relate to the one that you're applying to. The format is best for those who are trying to minimize resume gaps or for those that are transferring to a new industry. Finally, combination resume. So as you might guess, a combination resume takes chronological resume format and functional resume format pieces and kind of merges them together. So you'll combine the professional summary and skills section of a functional resume, but then you'll also list your chronological work experience. This format is a powerful way to stand out to recruiters by emphasizing both your experience and skills, and it's useful for many different types of job seekers. Here are just a few tips to help you with your resume. So one is, don't put everything on there. Make sure you're sticking to the highlights. Ditch the old-fashioned objective statement. You don't need that. They already know that your objective is to get the position you're applying for. Keep the resume to one page. Give them the numbers. If you're going to make statements about how you've changed or enhanced a particular position or a project that you worked on in a current or past employment opportunity, make sure you back that up with any kind of statistical data that would support your statement. Don't tell your soft skills, and then use keywords that are available from the job description and job posting and incorporate those into your resume. So writing a cover letter. Many people wonder, what is a cover letter? Is it important? Do I need to have one? The answer is yes. Writing a cover letter is very important. So your cover letter, if you think about it, it's really your opportunity to kind of set yourself apart. So a cover letter, you don't want to copy and paste components of your resume into a cover letter. Odds are that the recruiter that's filling the position looks at your resume first and then goes to your cover letter. So don't make them waste their time by reading duplicate verbiage. Cover letters are your opportunity to not only show how your background and knowledge would be a good fit for the position, but also that you're passionate and charismatic and well-informed. For many people, it's a daunting task to write a cover letter with so much information to convey. Where do you even start? So here are a couple tips. One is contact information. Make sure your contact information is easily accessible on your cover letter. Don't make the recruiter dig for how to get a hold of you. Next, give some thought to your greeting. Don't use the old "to whom it may concern." Try to personalize this. Find out who the hiring manager is, find out the name of somebody in human resources, and really use the person's name in your cover letter. Your introductory paragraph is a great way to kind of catch somebody's attention. So use relevant anecdotes that are related to the position. You can use quotes or fun facts. These are all good opening lines that can help you stand out. Make it clear that you know who the company is, what they do, and what they care about. Mention a few roles, projects, or experiences you've had and how those make you the ideal candidate. And if someone that at the company has referred you, make sure you name drop in that intro paragraph. Next, the remaining paragraph or paragraphs in the body of the letter, you can incorporate keywords directly from the job description. So whenever possible, include concrete metrics that illustrate the results that you've achieved. The closing paragraph should be a summary, not a plagiarism. So you want to reaffirm your interest in the position. You want to restate your qualifications, why you're passionate about achieving this position, everything that you talked about earlier in the letter without sounding redundant. An additional cover letters should be clean and easy to read. You don't want a bunch of graphics on them. You don't want crazy formats. You can save that for the party invitations. Like a resume, keep the cover letter to one page. If necessary, and you want to highlight, maybe a portfolio that you have or website or some samples of your work, you can upload those to a cloud-based drive and include a hyperlink in your cover letter. Saving your cover letter into a PDF format is also very important, because as you're uploading your cover letter to the various job sites, it won't change the format like sometimes happens with Word. So just know that the effort that you put forth to make the cover letter is definitely worth it, because the cover letters are read by the hiring managers and recruiters. They're a really important part of the job application. It would be easier to have your resume speak for itself, but a cover letter is a great opportunity to tell prospective employers who you are, showcase why you should be hired, and stand out above all the other candidates. Following up, if you've submitted a resume, you've made it a long way, and congratulations. It's no small feat, but it's just the beginning of the hiring process, to be honest with you. So it's frustrating. You've spent all this time, you've done your research, you've submitted your resume to employers, and you haven't heard anything. So what do? Follow up is very important, and it is okay to call the hiring manager, call the HR department, and follow up on your application. There's really no fixed rule of when to do this, but in general, don't do it sooner than a week. So give it a week from the time that you submitted your resume. If it's going on 2 weeks and there's no reply, then yes, you definitely want to follow up. So how do you do that? You want to either call the hiring manager, call the HR department, and follow up with somebody over the phone, or you can write a follow-up email if you can find an email address for the hiring manager or the recruiter/HR person that's in charge of the search. Next, you want to make sure that if you get the interview, you're prepared for the interview. So if you've submitted the application, you've done your follow-up, you have an interview on the schedule, you might do it virtually, you might do it in person. Either way, you need to be prepared for the interview. So give it some thoughtful consideration of why you want the position that you're interviewing for. What are your goals and qualifications related to the position and the employer in general? To accomplish this, you should perform research on the company and carefully review the job description for the position to understand why you are a good fit for the position. Let's look at a few steps that you can use to prepare for the interview. One is carefully examine the job description. Next, you should consider why you're interviewing and what are your qualifications as it relates to the position. Perform research on the company and the role that you're applying to. Consider your answers to the most common interview questions that are out there. Practice your speaking voice and body language. Prepare several thoughtful questions for the interviewer or the interviewers that you're going to meet with. Print hard copies of your resume so you can take those with you. And then finally, get ready to follow up after the interview. Thank the people that you've talked to for the interview. Specifically talk about something that you learned in the process and why you know that you would be a good fit for the position. So just a couple key takeaways. Remember, you got this. Be organized, do your research, be prepared, and be confident. Don't be shy, and make sure you follow up.